Alright, I'm gonna make this video short and sweet so that way you all can share it. If you come in on the live, that's good. If you watch this and then you share it, that's good. We're gonna make this short and sweet. I told you all a long time ago about the traps that the state was gonna play. So I get questions in my inbox often because I help people with appeals and a bunch of stuff. And so this person tells me that they received a denial of their FOID card from the Illinois State Police and they didn't know what it was. So I told them to go into their portal and to find the information about what the denial is because it's there. And so they ended up finding out that, you know, it was for a mental health prohibitor, right? So they sent me a snapshot of it. I gotta compete with this guy when I talk because he sells speakers, so the music could go up and down from time to time. But what's up, Chris? So come to find out that the mental health prohibitor was because this person called wanting to speak to somebody about, you know, the pressure that came from dealing with 2 kids and stuff like that, and they needed someone to talk to and someone to vent to. Didn't I tell y'all a long time ago that was gonna be the trap? I told you they was gonna trap people in 1 or 2 ways. One is gonna be by the cannabis, because those of you all who like to smoke cannabis, you wanna smoke but then you wanna carry. You can't smoke and carry at the same time. I told you that was gonna be one of the traps. But the second trap is you got all these activists asking for more mental health services. You can't be crazy or be alleged. What's going on? You can't be alleged to be crazy and carry a pistol too. You can't have 2 of the same. And so you all call these hotlines. You sit here and you vent your feelings about what's going on in your life, and you need someone to vent to. This is important. But the problem is, the minute you call that suicide hotline, the minute you go see a psychologist, the minute you go see someone other than an anger management specialist or a good person who's in your family or even a good friend that you can talk to who can help you understand, who doesn't necessarily have a mandatory reporting requirement attached to them, the minute you go see somebody who by law has to report it, that's when you're going to get screwed. And that's exactly what happened to her. So I'm going to help her as much as I can get through the process. And you may have to go, you know, see a psychologist or a psychiatrist to, you know, get the evaluation. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And see, this is a dangerous game because we need some people we can talk to. But that doesn't mean you're crazy. It's good to get that pressure off, because too much pressure built up on the inside and overabundance of pressure begins to explode in erratic, irrational behavior. I told you that was going to be the trap, and I just had to go live to talk about this. You better find an anger management specialist, somebody who doesn't have a mandatory reporting requirement, whom you could talk to, and they can help give you tools and tips and coping mechanisms. The more traumas you've been through, the more coping mechanisms you are going to need. Did you hear what I said? The more traumas you have been through, the more coping mechanisms you are going to need. There's nothing wrong with having coping mechanisms. It's nothing wrong with having the traumas that you've been through, because you've been through them. There's nothing you can do about it, but you need to have coping mechanisms. The more traumas you've been through, the more coping mechanisms you need to have. We all have stressors. We all go through things, you know, some more than others, right? But you need more coping mechanisms. So I'm going to stop this live so that way you all can share this message. And I would humbly request that you do that, because that's going to be the trap. That's how they're going to backdoor and find out, you know, you're going to start to get these letters from the Illinois State Police that's going to say, you have a mental health problem, you have this, you have that. You see what I'm saying? That's how they're going to attack you. That's how they're going to attack you. That you have these issues and you need to go see somebody, right? And it may be true. You may need to go see somebody, right? And so I'm just telling you You got to be careful. You got to be careful. This young person who talked to me, they said they called a mental health hotline. They called a mental health hotline. A mental health hotline. These politicians advocate for you to seek out mental services, and then when you seek out mental services, for you to gain coping mechanisms, for you to gain something, and the only thing you wanted to do was vent, they take that and they use it against you. It's all a plot to attack how you protect yourself, right? And they may have, you know, I don't want to say the ability, but they may have the desire to want to give you coping mechanisms, but that's not the real intent. The real intent is to lessen how many people have firearms. And, you know, in this day and age, when you got police who are overworked and overwhelmed, and police on the other side of that argument deciding not to do anything because you kept calling them a racist when they weren't, you know, and don't get me wrong, you got some who are, but when you got those officers who had no racist actions, regardless of their thoughts, or even no racist thoughts or actions, you attack the whole of them, and so you don't have anybody coming to help you, and now you can't help yourself, you know? I'm just telling you, that's a part of the plot, that's a part of the plan. So I'm going to stop this live because Facebook is doing what it does. I'm going to go back, record this video, save it, you know, push it wherever I need to push it, stuff like that. Look, find someone trustworthy to talk to, right? Before you seek out mental health services, find out someone who is educated. You might want to find that critical friend. You might want to find that critical friend whom you blocked, who was trying to tell you the truth, but you didn't want to hear what they had to say because you thought they were judging you when they just had eyes for the trauma that you can't see. There is a real phenomenon called inattentional blindness. Sometimes you got things going on with you, you can't even see what it is. And so you might want to go find that doggone critical friend and talk to that person. That person might be able to give you a list of what issues you have so you can start to do the work yourself to fix yourself. Because the minute you seek out professional mental health services, that's when the state police and the government entities are going to bang you out. You may get the services, right? You may or may not get the services, but one thing you definitely won't have is the ability to be able to protect yourself. This is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. You know where to follow me already. Take care. Let's get to work.